Tap in with us, man.
Subscribe.
Jeremy Fowler brought out the name Teven Jenkins because he talked about the probability that the Bears are going to go out and spend big in free agency. Now, I think we kind of knew that the Bears' plan was to spend big on the line, but when talking about this, he brought up Teven Jenkins' name and he said, unfortunately, Chicago can't bet on Jenkins suddenly becoming a consistent presence in their starting lineup anymore. According to Jeremy Fowler, the Bears will move on from the former 39th overall pick this offseason. He wrote, expect the Bears to spend on their interior offensive line after this season, struggles protecting Williams up front that could leave Jenkins looking somewhere else as Chicago replenishes the line. And listen, where's my zoom in? Drew, I need my zoom in.
Zoom in.
Don't Lonzo Ball this.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't Lonzo Ball this.
Mm-hmm.
When people show you who they are, believe them. I know. I need y'all to understand. I love Tevin. I know that when he's on the field, he is a monster. I know that when he's on the field, he will take your head off. But I'm sick of saying when he's on the field.
How often is that, Pat?
Every other game. And you can't look at the starts. You got to look at the finishes. I can't rely on the biggest problem with Tevin Jenkins is he will fight through practice all week. He will fight through all week in practice, be in and out, but still try to do it. He will fight to get into that starting lineup. Through all of that, now you're putting somebody in who didn't get first team reps. Because Teven Jenkins was fighting to be in the game and doing what we asked these football players to do. I'm not begrudging him for that, but you've got someone who's unprepared because Teven is too hurt to go. And so now we're throwing in Larry Borum in that spot and we say, oh, God, please, no. Like, I think that's where, to me, I get your people movers list.
Well, this is
but if there's one guy that I need to take off of it, it is Teven Jenkins because I love him just like I love Lonzo. I didn't want Lonzo back for 2 years, $20 million. I don't want Tevin back for an incentive-laden contract that, the money, we may not have to pay him a ton of money, but I still got to rely on this dude to be there, and he can't be there.
I don't know. I feel like I can understand if they move on from him. I'm just saying it's a hypothetical situation. The whole point is we want the offensive line fixed. How can we get to it based on the cap that we have, and who can we get? So the whole point is like, who is a better option to get after if Trey Smith is
a rookie that may be healthy.
If Trey Smith ends up no, I'm still, my point was to still draft linemen, still draft guards and centers. My whole point is just creating depth and quality depth. If you sign him, he doesn't work out, you have an out whether you move on from him or not. My thing is that you're right. When he's in the game, he is dominant. How do we know that some of that too is strength and conditioning? How do we know that some of that is just the offensive line in terms of how the scheme? Why is he getting hurt? What kind of injuries is he getting? Is it because
just get hurt? He came into the league hurt, bro.
He might.
This ain't new.
I understand.
We drafted him, and he was like, "My back." Like
he had an off the field injury.
Yeah, he had two calf injuries. Like
we know what you was doing, dog. We know what you were doing. Come on now.
But look, if we can get a better guard, I'm fine moving on from. My whole point is that the exercise of going through. We need people movers. We need guys that can work. I still want Kelvin Banks. Or Will Campbell at my left tackle. I still want a center upgrade, but I'm fine if Jake Majors is the center of the future or the other guy, fine. But if we get Drew Dahlman in there as a placeholder until that time, whatever, as long as we're creating and improving the line. So if he could be part of it, I would prefer that he's here. If not, okay, fine. Because we know he can play when healthy.
The second half of this for me is actually, does he want to be here? Part of this quote is, he's talked about, obviously, he was being drafted here. He built a lot of life here and stuff like that. But the opposite side, he says, the opposite side of that, I get a fresh start, new narrative, see if I can be who I want to be and see where I can go from there. That one sentence right there, that compound sentence, spoke volumes. That kid don't want to be here. The narrative is he's always hurt. Guess what? Unfortunately, you always are hurt.
We got to change something.
It's not the narrative, it's the truth.
Narrative and truth are two different things. This ain't a
truth.
narrative. He's always hurt.
This ain't a movie, dog.
He's always
This ain't a
hurt.
movie, dog.
However, realistically, if
You got
he
an old
believes
KJZ, it's not great.
if he believes that there is a narrative on him now that's impacting his career, go ahead and find a new start. Go ahead and do that.
He's an
unrestricted free agent. So at this point, he has the option to say where he wants to go realistically.
If he's willing to come back for a nice contract, and our plan is to still draft a guard of the future, will we be accepting an incentive-laden contract?
No.
Pat said he don't want that.
No.
Why would he
For
do
me,
it?
That's Pat.
I'm
I'm
fine
asking
with
three
it.
other people on that.
I'm fine with it. I'm saying
Would I want him
not-
back? I don't think he would. I don't think he would accept that.
An affordable price, because
He may
does have a
hit
stick-
the market and have no
he-
choice
yeah,
but
he
to
may
accept
not.
an incentive-laden contract.
Right.
He has been often injured. Usually that's going to come with like, hey, bro, you got to play 40 games on this contract to get the full money. Or whatever it is.
Prove it year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would hate that it turns to like
same thing happened to Mekhi Becton last year when he came out of New
He
York.
proved
This
it.
is facts.
He was labeled a bust. He went to Philly on a 1-year contract, balled out, and now he's about to get paid. Jenkins potentially is the same thing. Do we give him a 1-year, prove it, incentive-laden contract
Or do we
to
go for
get him
Mekhi
out
Becton?
and still draft our replacement guard?
yeah, that's what I say. He's already in the house.
The difference in Mekhi Becton, though, is Mekhi Becton rookie year, 14 games, 13 or 14 games. Got hurt the second year, didn't play the third year. Like that was all same injury. Came back, played 16 games, and then came back this season and played 15 games.
There you go.
Tevin Jenkins can't say that.
But he was horrible. Not horrible. He was bad.
He was mid. He was not living up to his draft stock. Let's say that. He was very mid.
He's done very good.
which is why you give them the incentive-laden 1-year deal.
But I also think it's a matter of, does he believe that Chicago would have the infrastructure on that line? Because one of the things I think, Pat, you talked about this halfway through the season, is we don't know if some of the failures that we see on the line is because people are compensating for other people. And so
that's what I lean
does
towards.
Tevin get put in a better position going to, let's say he's been linked to Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's a better line. That's an incentive-laden contract there makes sense because, hey, I have more people here that help me have the opportunity to stay on the field because I don't have to worry about incompetency on the line.
So
That's what I'm thinking of. Like, it's one thing to say, like, we can't do this like Madden and we think this person is going to stay here. We have the control. As an unrestricted free agent, we don't have the control.
I think it's a Mark Colombo situation. Yeah. He leaves, goes to a better squad. Like, we don't know if we brought a real competent offensive line coaching here. We hope we did.
Well, we know we didn't.
No, I'm saying here.
It's about now.
Oh, you talk about
Here,
no,
like,
we brought
do
a
we
competent
believe in
offensive
the offensive line? Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
I would think that he
Dan
benefits.
Rashard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so I would think that he benefits from a better scheme, better coaching with better players around him, because I've always felt that he might be overcompensated. They moved a man from right guard to left guard when he was dominant.
Left tackle to right tackle.
He was drafted as a right tackle,
right guard.
He played
right
left tackle.
guard to left guard.
Right, he's played all over the place. Like, give him a home and let him be a Pro Bowl type or a great player, so you don't like Pro Bowlers, but put him, maybe keep him at the right guard position, where he was strong at.
My thing is, you the beautiful thing
Give
about
me all
this whole
pros.
conversation is that
You
you're not handcuffed to Teven Jenkins.
Yeah.
You have so many other options that you can go with this. There's a lot of guard prospects that are really good in this draft. There's a lot of guard veterans that are really good coming up in free agency. Like, you have so many things that you can do as far as, replacing Tevin or keeping him. But if he wants to go the route of saying he wants to start over fresh, I'm completely fine with that, because you can get somebody that's easily going to.
And I think
Dennis Moody said, "Get the stepping, Tevin."
Right. I think here's my thing, right? Like, for me, someone with less talent than Tevin, right? Say somebody's got 20% less talent than Tevin.
Mm-hmm.
Pryor?
No, more talent than Matt Pryor. you should be able to get more talent than Matt Pryor. I like Matt Pryor.
I do like.
I like Matt Pryor as a rotational piece, but as a starter, you know what I mean? But if you give me somebody with 20% less talent than Teven Jenkins, but 17 games,
he stays on the field.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
I would rather have that, because
I hear you.
to me, the boom or bust factor has been more bust than boom. You know what I mean? If you hit a home run, and listen, the one thing that I will say in Teven Jenkins' case, it's not. I am kind of I'm out on Tevin coming back, but the one case for him staying is I think the Chiefs just made the greatest case of all to let Trent McDuffie walk in the Super Bowl. Like, we will find you again. You're amazing. We not getting rid of Trey Smith. I think you're probably paying Trey Smith overpaying Trent McDuffie right now because of what you saw in the Super Bowl. You don't want to have.
They would have to trade him though, right?
You could trade him. You could trade Trent McDuffie easily. That wouldn't even be difficult. And I think he might be a free agent.
Yes, you have to sign a trade.
Yeah. So it's more. You probably end up just letting him walk, but which sucks, right? No, he got one more year.
That's what say.
Where was he drafted? He's got one more year. He's still under contract. Yeah, he got a 4 year. But to me, the conversation on that is right. I'm worried about paying you later. I'm worried about moving on from you later. Like, I have to keep him because we got 4 dudes that just died in the Super Bowl, and he was a part of that. But he's the best out of all of y'all. You know what I mean? So I don't know if a Trey Smith is going to hit free agency like everybody's sitting here. No, they can't find a way to pay him. Yeah, okay. I've only watched the NFL forever. Like, superstars usually don't end up leaving.
And that's my thing. In terms of rated of a player with impact, I think Tevin, it's hard to just sleep on his talent. Now, I have to go back to
not sleep on his talent.
No, my point is that
Sleep
just
on his
saying
sleep on his health.
No, just get out of here. No, but the point is that he's a dominant player when healthy. What are things that maybe a coach can do that he's saying if we're bringing in real talented coaches with a real scheme? He might say, you know what, you might be doing this wrong, which is why you keep leading to this. There's things like that has happened. Remember the years when hold on. Remember when Urlacher and the entire defense all had like the same type of like hamstring issues. Yeah. Like everybody, it was a rash. All of them were going through whatever. Like sometimes the coaching, the strength.
What was in that?
Huh?
That was a great joke. That was a great setup. That was a great setup.
That was.
It was a rash, and everybody was going through the same thing.
That was a good alley-oop.
And then what was Kendrick's girl?
Shireen. Want to know where your mama stay? Want to know where your daddy stay? You know what, man? Just get up out the couch.
Let me ask you a question, though. So, just because you're injured doesn't mean you're always injured. Because we have had proof we have had drafted guys that were injured, and as soon as they left here and went to a different organization, they were no longer injured. Is it possible that with our new regimen coming in, that Tevin potentially would not be injured anymore?
That's what I'm saying. They might be some benefit of that.
Are you referring to him faking injury?
No, it's not faking.
It's the incompetency you have on your conditioning staff and your training staff. Are they not really coaching them?
That's like saying we don't work on our hamstrings over here. We only work on the biceps. Like, no, you got to be your core. We don't do this over here. We do it this way. It's all in ours.
I think here's the problem though. I believe 3 times in his career, Tevin Jenkins got hurt not doing nothing.
It's off the field.
He's gotten hurt off the field. Like that's a problem.
He had a back issue coming into.
He had a back. Well, that was
he
a part
came
of
into the league.
The back issue coming into the league.
And he tore his calf muscles in 1 year. That was forever. And then it's been like a neck injury. This year was a neck and something else. Like,
and by the way, here's the problem with that as well. And we've asked Tevin about this, and I've talked to Tevin. Tevin does incredible amounts of work to not get hurt. Tevin, like. He talks about doing yoga, talks about doing different stretches every day. He talks about how much money he's spending on his body now. He talks about, hot and cold treatment. He tells people what he's doing to not get hurt. Sometimes your body don't agree. Yeah. Derrick Rose did all the same stuff Kobe Bryant did.
Yeah.
His knees didn't agree with him.
He's playing on those thin shoes.
So Tevin Jenkins' main injury this year was a calf injury.
That was to start, but it never really went, which a calf never really does.
Never really goes away. But I mean, week 18, 17, and 16 was a calf. Week 11 was an ankle. He was out. Questionable on a knee, ankle again.
The ankle I give him. The ankle I give him. He got rolled up on. The ankle I give him. That's just a football injury.
That's what. Like it's not like it's. I think.
No, but there's a lot of injuries that are.
Dude, if you got a bad,
but
they got a bad line.
This calf is
they
a
are,
big thing
but it's still worth
is it
a 1 year deal.
I'm good.
It's
Yeah.
still worth for
I would
We'll
rather
see what
have-
Poles and them do. It don't
I would
matter what we
rather
say.
have availability than have the greatest guy who's out there to finish 10 games in the season.
Of course, we
Yep.
all want
That
you know,
aspect you mentioned on the new coaching staff, or there's Drew, you
Yeah.
might be onto something there though, because a new regime
Strength
coming
and
in
conditioning
from
coach.
strength and conditioning all the way to, and then
Yeah.
having the experience on that O line, that O line coach, you may be onto something. Because
That's what I'm
what if his
saying.
diet needs to change? He could be doing all the yoga,
No,
but
done
it's
that.
not that.
He's
No,
done the
We're
diet
talking
thing.
about a better
He
scheme
is
of how to block.
But well, you're talking about technique issue. Tevin doesn't
I don't
have
think he has a technique
problem.
issue.
Some
It's a health issue.
some of
Because I've even asked
If he
I've
got
asked
rolled
Yurko,
up-
I've asked Yurko about this. I've asked Olin about this. I was like, is it a technique problem? Is he over? Because Kyle Long legitimately overextended himself.
yes, he did.
He would lose technique and it would cause him to get hurt because he's reaching too far one way or the other. And I've asked these guys who have played the position, who have been Thayer, all of these, is his technique bad? No, his technique's fine.
So it's just
He's just an injury prone
we
player.
don't believe in it, but it's just one of them deals where it's called just
Well,
luck.
we'll see what Poles and them going to figure out what they want to do, and he'll make the decision. I'm fine if he stays, and if he goes, okay. But I'm okay if he stays here.
I think
if it
I
benefits
think my
the team.
thing is if you miss out on a lot of these names, I could see you circling back to Tevin. I do wonder if maybe the right side affords him less. He was healthier when he played on the right side of the line.
That's what I'm getting at.
I wonder if the right side affords him less
I agree.
injury than the left side. But
You can't
even
rub it
then,
down.
you know, it's not like
Yeah.
he was
Let me
the
ask you a
pinnacle
question.
of health.
Let me ask you a question, because you sit here
What
because
calf?
basically 9 out of 10 times Trey Smith is not going to be let go out of KC.
I don't
now,
believe so.
So now we need 4 starters. A smart GM will bring back Jenkins just so you can have some continuity on the line, and then you only have to worry about 3 starters
Right.
and a swing
Well,
compared
continuity.
to 4.
You're in a different scheme now, though.
But still, continuity on the offensive line
Yeah,
between
but
locker
you're talking
him.
about
room,
continuity with a
but you
guy.
talking about
that's-
locker room,
But
gelling.
you can potentially move him to the right side and
You're-
create
you're
instant
also-
continuity.
But
But you
you're
know
also
you're getting a new
talking about
center.
you're also talking about 2 new coaching staffs that have been there since Tevin Jenkins have been drafted. You're talking about the possibility of Kevin Zeitler being available, who has run Ben Johnson's system before already, who plays guard, and maybe he's somebody you get with
But
a
it's
Trey, right?
Oh,
But
Zeitler coming.
but you're talking about Brax, not Brax, Darnell
Tevin.
Wright with Tevin, and the thing is that there's nuances of playing with as a teammate. If they were to go back, if he's go back to right guard, because this is my thing. Like I was saying before, what happens if we don't get Trey Smith, and he's
He's
probably
not.
still one of the better guards,
What's the
He's
other
not.
guy?
and so you put him back at
What's the
put
other
him
guy
at
got?
right guard.
Piff
For fifth?
says
For
that
fifth?
Jenkins is the third
What's the
rated
other
guard.
dude on Baltimore that's available too?
He's not.
We talking about it on
He's
Ronnie
Tuesday.
Stanley's
rated.
the left
He's
tackle.
rated.
guy.
He's rated underneath Jenkins,
Makari, he's gonna be available.
but he's rated underneath.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's rated underneath, but he's healthy.
but he plays more. That's my thing. Like there's names available out there that are guys that are on the field. It's not to say Tevin's not talented. I don't want that to be the takeaway from this conversation. He's one of the most dominant guards when he's on the field. He's not on the field. Lonzo
he's
Ball
there
is one of the
14
best
games.
point guards in the NBA when he's on the court.
But with the
Most
change
of
in
Lonzo
regimen,
Ball's last 3 seasons, he ain't been on the court.
and
but the-
Makari
but-
played
but
all
with the-
17 games.
but with the
this season,
change
that's
in
all I'm saying.
regimen, there's a potential for that to change. Just like we didn't have a great strength and conditioning system when we had Mark Colombo. Mark Colombo left here and turned into almost a Hall of Famer with
He
the Dallas
tore his knee up.
Cowboys.
You've gone through 2 different systems, and Tevin has been the same.
But we also still had crappy offensive line coaches at the same
Yeah, we
time.
did.
You did still have Chris Morgan. Maybe the change to Dan Rochar helps Tevin Jenkins, but again, Tevin's technique is not poor.
We didn't say it. Well,
But
Tevin's
it's a combination of everything.
execution is not poor.
But it's a combination of everything. When
The
you bring in a new
combination-
system, it's everything. It's
yes,
just
but
not
the combination of everything is, I'm telling you, Tevin Jenkins works on his body consistently because he knows that this is the case. He is upped yoga. He's done all of this stuff to try and make sure he doesn't get hurt. His technique is good. His fundamentals are good. He's a good guard.
yes, but he's one of 5. If the other guys suck around him, I mean, Braxton Jones is literally getting pushed into the quarterback, getting sacked. You know, like all of that makes a difference if you have competent play around everybody else.
Well, Braxton Jones ain't leaving.
No,
he
I'm
might
just
be.
saying that
Braxton
Braxton Jones is
he's not.
probably
What I'm
on the
saying
team
is that
next year.
Why
incompetent
is he
play
not
from a
leaving?
center and an incompetent from a
not-
left tackle,
because
all that happened. All that is a fact.
not because Poles drafted him, because the guys who are left tackles coming out in this draft. Will Campbell, right? Will Campbell, little.
Calvin Banks,
He a little stumpy.
Jr.
He a little stumpy.
Really?
Yeah,
Left
man. Little
guard.
stumpy arms.
Little T-Rex.
Slightly
Little
short.
stumpy arms. Kelvin Banks Jr. Little stumpy.
They say he's stumpy.
Little stumpy. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they both projecting as guards.
Yeah.
The tackle.
what I mean,
The
Simmons-
tackle in this draft is
Simmons-
Joshua
Simmons.
Simmons.
Yeah, that's why I was saying
The tackle in this draft is Joshua Simmons. But again, Teven Jenkins was the tackle in his draft.
Third round.
And my back. You know what I mean? Like it's
Second
kind of
round pick.
it's kind of just what you have, and it sucks. It does, but I don't think you tie yourself to somebody who has proven to you that he can't stay healthy for the hope
No, it's
that a new staff
you're
coming
using
in
the
is
wrong
all of a
word.
sudden going to save his body.
But
We're
you're
not
using
talking
the
about giving
wrong
him
word.
4 years.
Tie-in
We're not
is
talking about
not-
getting 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
We're
you're
talking
not
about-
locking
we're
in.
talking about giving him 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's
One
the
with
thing.
a team option.
Gucci.
So we definitely getting a center. We know we have to get a center.
We
You're
have
getting a
to.
center.
We're getting a
You
center.
you're
And
either
we gotta
going
draft one.
you're either going
And-
Dolman, who because of your boy, they literally like they actually can't bring him back, which is kind of wild. Shout out to Kirk helping the Chicago Bears.
Thank
Kirk
you.
Cobain's with that dead cap money.
Thank you.
That or they keep him.
Hey, listen, I love you, Kirk.
You keep $100 million
I love you.
quarterback for a bench piece.
I love you, Kirk. Thank you for
Crazy.
helping the Chicago Bears. So we're definitely getting a center.
Probably yes.
We know for a fact not for a fact, but it's a good chance that we draft a tackle.
I would assume you're
Better
drafting
tackle or
a
guard.
guard who probably
Yeah.
projects as a tackle, unless you go second round with a Gray Zabel who kind of can play all of it.
So Dahlman upgrades our center. We're happy
Yes.
there. We improve, or we have the hope of improvement at a guard.
Guard,
That's
yes.
still 3. We still need 3 open slots.
Not
We got-
three.
we got put-
Darnell Wright.
We got to pull.
You
this
got
roster
Darnell
up.
Wright. He ain't
Two.
going nowhere.
It's 5 people on the line. You
right.
got
He
Wright
said he
and
said
Dahlman.
he said center. He said you're going to get guard.
Darnell
You've
Wright's
got
not going
Darnell
anywhere.
Wright.
So we still got 2 more then.
You're keeping Braxton Jones.
Yeah, you are.
I can see him-
Unfortunately, I'm
That's your
not
safety
thrilled.
blanket.
You
Hold on,
can't
wait.
keep Braxton Jones.
in that scenario.
That's
I
your
can
safety
see them
blanket.
bringing back
I'm
Tevin.
telling you right now, if you draft one of those dudes in the first round, unless you draft Joshua Simmons, if you draft Joshua Simmons, then you might move on from Braxton Jones as your starting left tackle because he's the one that does project as a left tackle. I think Will Campbell might have the aggressiveness and the footwork to play left tackle
He
in
don't
this
have the
league.
arms, is what you're saying.
He a little stumpy, which means you got to have better speed.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to have better speed than NFL pass rushers.
Mhm.
NFL pass rushers are very fast. And you got to have he's got great lower body strength, which is why I think it makes him a great guard and left tackle. Like I think he can play both, but where he probably would be most productive is the guard position.
Is Dahlman the only one between Trey Smith and those projections that we're like definitive saying we're getting that guy? We have to bring that guy
You
in.
can't definitively say you're 5-1.
You know what I'm
football
saying?
team.
we'll
You
see
can't
what they-
definitively say.
They
like,
don't want to come
Here's
here.
the thing. You're a 5-1 football team. You're going to have to overpay for every single one of these pieces. Do they want to go to a team that was a 5-1 football team? The coaching staff is fun. The everything new in
for
there is
sure.
fun.
Play the game.
Players look at that and go, "Oh, so they ain't figured it out yet."
New coaching
Or they
staff,
say
everything
they
like
are
that.
gonna
I can go sign with
play the
Detroit.
game with me. Out of all those people, we say, "Oh, let's go get that guy." We definitively have to get more than a Trey Smith. We need a center.
Yes, I would overpay for Drew Dalton. You need a center
Yeah, you do.
horribly
You
bad.
need that guy to.
I can't watch Coleman Shelton Beetle anymore.
snap the ball.
I can see
block.
I can see
Snap the
Tevin
ball block.
coming back, because if we definitively have to get Dahlman and we see the pressure that probably Casey's gonna probably put on Trey, we're not.
I think if you miss on Trey though,
You
it
kinda
doesn't
have
mean
to.
it doesn't mean you don't sign. And you're drafting a dude that probably projects as a left guard.
So he puts him back in his natural position.
No,
On the right.
I think you still sign two. I think no matter what, the Bears still sign a guard. It may not be Trey Smith, who I want,
Okay.
who I would love for them to just spend whatever you can to get, but I do think that you're probably still signing a guard. Dahlman feels like the best center prospect. I can see the Bears going out and trying to spend big to get him. And
Boy,
you're
Ryan-
probably drafting
Ryan Kelly's worth
one of those guys out there. Maybe you're trading back from 10, or, well, you know, in my scenario, I want a pass rusher, so I'm trading 10.
What about
Maybe you're finding
James-
somebody in the second round.
What about James Daniels coming back home? He looks more like a $8 million.
He
9
actually
million.
is.
You know what?
He's good now. He is
Unrestricted
good.
free.
I don't know if he's good, right?
He's
Let's
only
see. I
26,
think
27.
here's the thing. I think
I think he's a product
James
of the line.
Daniels
Gross
is
stupid.
very similar to what he was here. You thought you upgraded James Daniels. The truth of the matter is you didn't. Kind of. I mean, he was our left
Well, they were
guard.
saving money.
So Tevin technically was an upgrade.
He only played 4 games last season.
Yeah. Ronnie Stanley's 30, almost 31.
I'm doing it. Ronnie Stanley available? Do it.
Yep.
Spend what you got to spend.
Yep.
Do it. Like I'm. Here's my thing, and this is, and we got to get to this final topic. But my thing is, you spent on the staff. Don't cheap out on the players you give the staff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going after Myles Garrett, especially with the ESPN report that we talked about today. That if you got a top 10 pick, it may not cost you as much. I'm going after Trey Smith. I miss out on Trey Smith. Yo, Ronnie, what you got going on? You want to go back over there with Lamar? Derrick Henry? Nah, brother. We got Caleb Williams for you. We got DeAndre Swift. Shut up. It don't hit the same.
Right.
He's not leaving. But no, my point is I'm spending big in the trenches, and if it costs me pieces elsewhere, it costs me pieces elsewhere. I'm not mad at it. Yeah. I need trenches to finally be addressed.
O-line
in a big way.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Let's do it.
Let's finish.
Marcus Lewis said his left tackle will be Stanley, his left guard will be Milam, I guess the rookie, center Dahlman, right guard Rutledge, and the right tackle right guard. This is his O-line lineup. Thank you, Marcus Lewis.
I would love it.